Hey, my name is Mat Rogers. I am a second generation. My daddy was a fat man. He sold his business. And now I'm pretending to be a marketing guru with Paul Giannamore. Fuck off, bitches. Make some fucking money. What the are you doing for me? Where the are my clients, bitch? Chop, 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 chop. Bitch! And there we go. Another marketing mindset, Matt. And
hey, Franco.
He ran off. That's it. He gave you a quick pep speech, and
Yeah.
well, there you have it.
Paul, Dylan, please bleep all of that stuff out. Paul, the fact that you're doing so much of your life sober right now and working with that guy, I don't know how I would do it without a little tequila from time to time.
It's just like coming into this office in the morning, like just seeing him raises my blood pressure.
It's like a Red Bull first thing. Too much.
Dude, he's like that 24/7. So,
do you ever wonder if like he has like he crochets or something? Like he does something stupid that you just wouldn't have any idea about? He's in a book club?
No, he does all sorts of ridiculous stuff that we know about. We know he gets pedicures every other week.
All right.
We know that. I'm trying to think of what else he does.
There's got to be an off at some point. You know what I mean?
There's not, actually. There's no off. Zero off switch. It's
ridiculous.
Just on 24/7.
Ridiculous. God bless him.
Your daddy sold his business. Now you're pretending to be a marketing guy.
Your daddy's fat. Now he sold his business and you're pretending to be a marketing guy. Awesome. Thanks, Franco.
Actually, Mike Rogers has been in pretty good shape as of late, hasn't he?
He's doing great. He's, that's the funny thing Dad says about the later part of his life is both he and Debbie are just focused, like laser focused on health.
That's great.
And so he's doing good. He's getting out there and he's doing what he can for sure.
It's one of those things is I see that all the time. Like people sell their businesses, they got all this stress, they're not eating right, they sell their businesses and they
get in shape.
Really get focused on health and fitness. Yeah. Actually, to like an annoying level. Some of these folks are just,
Yeah. If you think about it, though, they've taken all of these, all of their resources, their time, their money, and they've leveraged it away from their business and focused on this new thing, right? And so it kind of accelerates their process. The rest of us just kind of have to figure out how to squeeze it in as we go, right?
One of these days, Matt, you'll be able to get back to the gym.
I'm back in the gym,
Are
Paul.
you?
I'm in the gym. Yeah, I'm in the gym like 4 or 5 times a week.
That's great, man.
I mean, I'm trying. I got to keep up with you. Dylan's in the gym now. Everybody's in the gym now. I'm trying.
I was there at
Alan lives in the gym.
4:50 this morning.
God almighty. There's nobody in the gym, Paul, at 4:50 in the morning.
Surprisingly, here in Puerto Rico, it's shocking. Gym actually had a decent amount of people. Yeah.
Yeah. The kids pull me in the other direction, buddy. My alarm goes off at 6 o'clock so I can go start making breakfast, making lunch, get the kids off to school, kind of thing.
Well, I think today, Matt, we're going to talk a little bit about search marketing. You were talking a few weeks ago about getting prepped for the off season here, and it sounds like, getting tooled up with some SEO juice in the off season probably is a good thing to do to get prepared for next year, considering, many of our clients, particularly in the resi services space, kind of calm down in the winter months. So what say you?
Yeah. You just triggered something. Maybe in the next episode, we can get back towards some traditional marketing areas of focus. Things like your graphic design, your brand identity, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Especially for the service industry. There's lots of room for improvement there. But for today, while people are kind of coming down off of their year and they're starting to, think about how they want to prepare for the next year, I would say today's episode is about taking the top 10 things you need to be evaluating so that your next seasonality or your next calendar year can be more successful than this one. And so the first one I think is the most important, especially in terms of search, is Google's ranking factors. The very first thing you need to pay attention to is understanding Google's ranking factors. And the truth is, with Google specifically, there are like thousands of things that Google evaluates to determine whether or not you are the kind of company that it wants to put in front of the consumer, right? But the three I think that really service industries can focus on is one, creating localized content. Two, client reviews. We've talked about it a little bit on the show, but a lot of clients are using Podium, love Podium. We should probably get a sponsorship from Podium as many times as it's come up, right?
I'd say.
Yeah, Podium, call us. And then three, ensuring that the site is mobile friendly. So localized content, reviews, and mobile friendliness are the three biggest areas of focus I would give to anybody who's trying to figure out Google's search ranking. Is my website, is my information, is my Google business profile worthy to get in front of the consumer? If you've got hyper-local content, meaning it is specific to the geographic region that you are in, and so Google knows to route a solution for a search inside of that geographic region, you're in good shape. But if you've got a bunch of bland information on there that does not talk about where your business is operating, how long your business has been operating in these places, and the neighborhoods and businesses that are around your operation, if your content isn't focused on those geographical signifiers, you've got some stuff that you could be working on in your off season. Reviews, you need to have a shit ton of them. People feel some kind of way about the review systems like Podium, but Podium is great. One, for the consumer psychology. You're going to get so many reviews so fast. And two, it's going to give your business the opportunity to quality control all of the Karens that call in from time to time because it's Tuesday and they had to skip lunch, hate your business, right? So it's going to give you the opportunity to fix something before it becomes a problem. So if you're not utilizing a tool like that and you don't have like more than 50 reviews, you need to get pretty aggressive in that area.
On the topic of reviews for a second, Matt, here's one thing that's on my mind, and I think you're the right person to ask about this. Some years ago, Podium and those review engine type software, I think they were around, but this was years ago. So not as many people were on the whole review train as they are now. And we sold a business, and the guy that owned it was like somewhat of an amateur digital marketer. He was actually pretty good.
Claiming to be an expert?
Yeah, he actually did a really good job. I would say the thing about him is he actually thought critically about a lot of things. And he ran an experiment.
That's good.
And one of his experiments was, what sort of impact do Google reviews have on the search area by which your company will show up on organic results? So here's what he did. He was in, I'm not going to say the name of the city, but let's use Charlotte, for example, since you know Charlotte.
Okay.
Let's say his business was up in Concord, so on the northeast kind of suburbs of Charlotte Metro. And then, so that's where the majority of his business was. And he was getting, of course, a lot of organic responses for that area because he had reviews, he had a lot of stuff. And then he decided, he's like, I'm going to do nothing else, but I'm going to go down to, I've got some clients that are on the south side of Charlotte, not in my area, and I'm going to bribe every single customer to review my business from that area. So they went out there and he really focused. I mean, this is a guy who actually drove out himself, met with the customer and said, hey, if we're doing a great job, I'd really appreciate a review. He accelerated this. And within a very short period of time, I don't know, maybe he got 100, 200 reviews from an entirely different area. But one of the things that he noticed, his hypothesis was that Google would understand that where those people live or where they spend a lot of their time and where they do their searching. And the reviews in that area would make Google take notice, like, oh, this is a company that's actually doing good things in this area. And wouldn't you know it, he was right.
He's 100% right. Yeah, I verified that because I'll tell you why. when we service ads through paid search, through LSA, we give Google geographic information of the kinds of people that we want to talk to.
Yep.
Google knows north of 60% of lots of information about its users, right?
Yep.
Lots of information about its users.
Their fetishes and all sorts of stuff.
Weird stuff,
Yes.
right? This is stuff that are not important for making good marketing decisions, but Google knows it, so be careful. But we have to input information like that to find the right geographic places to serve ads. The same is true for those reviews. If when I log into Google and I'm ready to leave a review on a business profile, Google knows my average household income, right? Google knows my physical address and my cell phone number. Google knows the last handful of websites that I've been to, right? And so it has this information. So he is 100% accurate that curating reviews in that way can definitely help open up and let Google offer your business profile in areas where people are searching over there.
Yeah.
We were wrapping, the last one was just being mobile friendly. We talked about it on the last episode. Google is changing in two big ways very fast, three technically, but AI, voice recognition, and then mobile experience, right? Most people are using their devices to find the things that they're looking for. That's not their computer or their laptop. And so you want to make sure that you are optimized. The second one is keyword research, right? This goes to all of your clients that you've talked to in the past and businesses that I've worked with currently that are super hyperbolic about what they think. How they think is how everybody thinks, right? One of the best tools that Google gives us is the keyword planner. And we use the keyword planner for pretty much everything that we do, right? Because the keyword planner helps us remember that we do not know everything. Yep. We do not know all of the search queries that people in the entire Charlotte metro have put into Google to find the things that they're looking for, but Google does, right? And Google will give a digital marketing company that data point, or a business those data points, right? You can take a data dump of keywords that are associated with your businesses. It's going to give you a huge list of other keywords that you need to be thinking about and the demand for those keywords, right? So one thing that you want to be focusing on in your off season is your keyword research, because that is the foundation. Understanding how keywords work and how important they are and how to find the right ones and not waste time on other ones and let the data inform what you're focusing on is going to propel you forward in terms of being available to somebody when they're searching. The third one is long form content. I actually, and if it's okay, I can take it out of the service industry for this next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have a client. I'm so stoked about it, Paul. It's not going to be one of our big clients, but shout out to the Hunter Farm. It's actually here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's over 100 years old, right? A working farm. That is open to the public constantly. People can come up for all different things. Strawberry season, pick out their pumpkins, right? It's time to get your Christmas tree, summer camp, farm camp for the kids in the summer, spring break, all the, outside s'mores, all this stuff. They do, it's an active and vibrant place, right? But they're really struggling because their profile wasn't showing up at all. It's been here for over 100 years, and it wasn't showing up as a possibility for a tourist to visit at all in any searches that the business could find. And the solution was in their long-form keywords, right? Long-form keywords are a body of content that you would create that's over 1,500 characters, okay? And so they didn't have any of this. Their entire website, while beautiful, did not have any content about any of the activities that go on calendar-wise throughout the entire year, right? And they weren't hooking this content up to their Google business profile. So we're going to be able to turn this thing around for them really quick. And I'm super excited to be doing this project with them. A, because it's going to make us look like rock stars pretty fast, right? But B, they're already, especially when we go, sometimes you're just kind of in line. It feels like Disney sometimes to get on the hayride, right? Because there's so many people there. But this is going to blow them up. They're really going to have to rethink about how they bring the public into their environment, because I'm very convinced that this is going to just blow things up. So the third thing is understanding your long form keyword content on your website and improving some of that content in your off season is going to play a big factor in getting more people to find out about your business.
Is there too long when it comes to long form content?
I wouldn't say too long or too short. I would say not specific enough, and too specific is the right thing to think about. You want to be crazy specific. You want to let them know that the Hunter Farm is off Providence Road across from the Methodist Church, and we're going to be doing Christmas trees that are brought down to us from Boone, North Carolina. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but starting in November, and auxiliary parking can be found on Weddington Road, right? You want to make sure that you are very specific with your content. A lot of times when people are doing long form content, they won't be locally specific enough. This is a big mistake, actually, a lot of companies make. They think that people jump on and they read this shit, right? They don't. Yeah. But some people might, like my wife might. But the majority of us do not. The reason that you have this content is to tell Google about your business so Google can find your business. The problem that they're having right now is Google can't, right? Because that content's not there. And so you could go too long, but you're kind of just investing too much time. I would just stick around 1,500 characters, but be very specific on your local geographic location.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I once had a discussion with an HVAC company that said to me, I was looking at the financial results, and I said, well, what happened during this period, because I see that your revenue really kind of hockey sticked up. And they said, we did a lot of different things, but the most significant change that we made was that we took a look at our business, and we took a look at every single problem we're attempting to solve. And, in the HVAC space, that's literally thousands of instances of, this widget goes wrong or that, or a million different things. And they said, we just took, we had 2 technicians who were older, and we used them for, training and their expertise, but we allowed them to basically sit on the couch, relax in the office, drink a coffee, and basically write up almost an SOP for every single type of problem you find with an HVAC system. Mm-hmm. And so they ended up with thousands of pages of content, and over the period of months, every day started putting like these different articles.
Brilliant.
Like, again, it was really minutiae. It was a very specific problem that literally most people would never have. But now Google knew that that's what they dealt with. And so their web traffic just shot off the charts, and it impacted their revenue and their bottom line. So I think it was a good move.
Their business.
So folks should think about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The content is not because people are sitting there like in the old days with their newspaper and a cup of coffee, just looking through your website and reading all about your website. Nobody does that. The average amount of time is 2 minutes, right? The content is there to help Google figure out who you are and provide your information to a user. Yeah. The next one I had, we've talked about this some, but optimizing your local business profile. I don't want to, show all the cards for Lizard and how we do that for our partners, but we really are hedging our bets on those keyword researched pieces of content that we're putting on people's sites and connecting that regularly to their business profile. Okay. So we'll go back to the Hunter Farm. It's a great example because this is going to be a catalyst that changes their business. I guarantee it. I'd put money on it right now. We're going to create our first body of content right there. It's fall. People are going to be thinking about pumpkin spice lattes and picking out their pumpkins and hay rides and sunflower pictures and all those kinds of things that you would do at a place like this, right? So we're going to build content specific to those keywords that's hyper local, that's 1,500 characters long. We're going to put that on their website. And we're going to build 4 of them per month, right, for this client. And then once a month or once a week, we are going to load that link into their business profile inside of Google. And here's what that's going to do. It's going to drive more traffic to your website, okay? And it's going to tell Google that it's going to solve the problem that the Hunter Farm is experiencing right now. When someone is searching for things to do in the fall in Charlotte, North Carolina, right? It's going to have this fresh piece of content that's just been linked to this business profile that talks about fun things you can do in the month of October. oh, look, here you can come to the Hunter Farm and pick out your pumpkin, right? It's going to have that fresh piece of content, and it's going to offer that business profile to the user. And once that happens, they're going to see all the reviews of people's experience that have been there, all the photographs that people have loaded up. This place is great at taking great photography at the farm. It's going to see all the photography for the farm, and it's going to be like, yeah, I'm going. Let's set up our, jump on the website and set up our time block, right? So that is optimizing your local business profile. And companies really, if they're not thinking about that, that is something that they have to be thinking about. It's kind of neglected in the past, right? Yeah. Going back to service industry, you would think, I want to open up another office, so I need to open up another business profile. Well, yeah, you do for sure. But Google is going to try to offer business profiles to people more than anything else, because AI is pushing Google to do that, right? And so optimizing your business profile is really going to be a catalyst for driving website traffic up and driving your conversions up as well. So we are creating the copy, right? And we're using keyword research to do that. It's 1,500 characters plus. We are loading it to the Google business profile, right? In regular intervals, right? And making sure that our site specifically is mobile friendly, because that's where most of the traffic's going to be coming to. Another important thing that you can be thinking about, especially in the off season when you have time, you can breathe a little bit because the phone's not ringing off the hook, and you can prioritize your resources in other areas. High quality backlinks are one of the fundamental and old school, but still very relevant ways that Google identifies that the information that it's providing to the user is 100% accurate. A great example for pest control would be associations with NPMA, right? NPMA is an old established website with Google, right? And so if you have a backlink from NPMA to your website, what that's telling Google is, I identified that Paul's service industry is a accredited pest control company because it is connected to the NPMA, right? This is true for all of the certifications that you have to go through for all of your businesses. All of the directories where your business's information is listed should be same for all of the directories. Should be absolutely consistent, like no punctuation difference across all of the directories. But all of the associations that you would be involved in as well are a great way. Another great backlink is doing press releases in your local market, right? We help clients with that sometimes too, right? Creating pieces of content that say, hey, we've opened up this new office in this specific region. You shoot the press releases out, local news stations and radio stations pick it up, and what do you know? They link to your website in the press release, right? Yeah. And that lets Google know this is an important company. It's seen by accredited businesses that surround it. So this is a safe place to offer the user in terms of getting them access to what they're looking for, because Google's ultimate goal is to get the user high quality content for the things that they're searching for, right? So backlinking is a great place to focus.
Is there any way that a business owner can accelerate backlinking? So I get going out to, like, you're a part of a state association and a national, and you're doing press releases.
Yeah.
What else could you do to do that?
The biggest one that will help right out the gate is a company like mine will use a third party to clean up your information, your outbound information to the directories. I'll give you, we'll use Paul's as an example. There are going to be over 100 directories in your geographic region that list your business's information once your business becomes accredited, right? And so when Paul's business is up, it's been here for 3 years. There are about 100 directories that Paul's business is listed in, right? We've got a platform that we use where it brings all of those directories, links them into one page, and I can, from the top to the bottom, curate the content that's going to be on all of those directories. And so it will send all the same information out to all 100, as opposed to reaching out to 100 different places to clean up that information. And that is going to aggressively propel your backlinking and your domain authority forward in the right direction, right? When it comes to press releases, though, that takes time. When it comes to reaching out to MPMA and doing associations, that takes a little time too, because you got to have help from the other side.
Yeah.
So there are things that you can do to kind of push the pedal down and get some immediate results, but then there's an aspect of it that is slow but steady wins the race as well, right? Equally as important.
Got it.
Number seventh thing that people can be focusing on is voice search. We talked about it when we talked about the data dump from Google, right? Google cares about, 3 of my devices in the room with me right now are listening to the things that I say, and they'll have implications on the kinds of things that I see when I log into social media. I'm gonna jump on my TikTok, to my wife's chagrin. All of the ads that I see when I'm in there are going to be informed by the things that I'm saying, right? So optimizing, thinking that way, knowing that artificial intelligence has happened, doesn't matter how you feel about it, and knowing that artificial intelligence and Google specifically is focused on how we speak to determine intent, right? You need to be leveraging some time there into that research. So that's a great thing you can do off of, in your off season. This next one is a little tricky. Number 8 is using structured data markup. Okay, this is called in digital marketing. This is your schema. Okay, a schema markup helps Google understand your content better, right? Making your site eligible for what's called rich snippets. Okay, we're heading into vocabulary territory, right? The example that I forgot or that I wrote down is a local electrician can use a schema to display star ratings, operational hours, and direct content links to search results, right? Making the listing more appealing and more clickable. So I'm going to give you an example. We'll use that electrician as our example, right? Lizard is doing the ads for this electrician's company, Paul's Electricians Company, and we're heading into the off season. So we're going to start focusing on content and schema on their website that's going to give us more things that their ads can pull from to increase the real estate size of those ads on Google. Okay. So I'm living in the PR, I'm searching for an electrician. And what do you know? Paul's ad pops up because Lizard's doing its job and the ad pops up, right? When you have dialed in your schema on your website, you've given Google things from your website that it can add to your ad. It's called an ad extension.
I've seen it before, yeah.
It makes your ad fat, okay? It makes that worm on the hook bigger, right? And it really does drive up the conversion rates, but it takes time to develop this content, right? And it takes time to link it to your ads. So that's not really an immediate grab, right? So you got to do it in your off season and focus on those things in your off season so that when your on season picks up, you can increase the size of your ads on page 1 of Google and take up more real estate, increasing the odds that somebody's going to click on your ad.
Right on.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I hope I did a good job there.
No, that's great. Like I've seen that before. I didn't realize what was going on there, but I have seen that in ads.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's Google gives you lots of things, lots of ad extensions that you can use, but your structured snippets is one of them, and it makes it real big, right? Adds like a whole paragraph underneath your ad. It's great. The next one, kind of wrapping up, is user experience, right? You want to focus on your user experience. I have a client, it's a large client that's coming on right now that is keenly aware of the user's experience in working with their company from top to bottom, and is keenly aware of the user experience on that website from the time they arrive to the time they make a conversion or bounce out of that website, right? And when they, now that they've got all this data from a season where their website has just been flooded with all these new users, right? Some of them going all the way to make a conversion action, right? What was that conversion action? What was that offer? What was the path for them to get there? How can we tweak that path to increase more people making that conversion next year, right?
Yeah.
And what was the reason that all of these people were coming in and taking off, right? Let's spend some time and look at the user experience in that area to determine if we can keep more of those people on board with us. Because when you really are focusing on your digital marketing, you're playing a game of margins, right? You're trying to increase the amount of conversions, decrease the amount of bounce rates that people are leaving, increase the amount of time that people are spending on your website by percentages. That's that's what's really going to drive revenue, right? So understanding your user experience for your website is a pretty kind of fundamental thing that you can be focusing on in the off season.
Makes sense to me.
And then last but not least, and this one's really important, especially for your hyperbolic people that are listening to us, especially for people that do this in-house and perhaps are not even doing the research. The relevance and the freshness of the content that you put out there is a great thing that you can be focusing on. So let's say we're in October. We're going to take the information that the keyword planner gives us, and we're going to plan. This is what Lizard does. We are out on content usually 6 months, okay, in front of the content that we need to deliver, okay, because we have a lot of people that have to deliver for it. It better be good, right? Evaluating that information and scheduling out. In the month of October, we're going to create these pieces of content, and we're going to distribute these pieces of content here, here, and here. For November, same thing. December, same thing. Making that plan now in your off season for the on season is going to greatly impact the number of conversions that you make. Just like your friend with his HVAC company that had that hockey stick experience by virtue of creating that content. That was kind of on a lark.
Yeah.
You should be more programmed and more structured in your approach to that, right? You should have a plan in place. Hopefully shit like that's happening all the time and you're getting these crazy spikes all the time for maybe a press release you put out or something like that, right? But you should have a plan in place that kind of helps things steadily move in the right direction month over month. Having that plan in place is probably one of the bigger things that you can put in place as you get ready for the next season.
How often should folks think about posting content on their actual website? Is it like a weekly thing, twice a week?
Weekly. Yeah. Google passes your website just like that car drives up and down the streets and remaps the streets, right? Google is mapping the web in the same way that Google is mapping our streets, right?
Yeah.
That's weird to think about, but it's true. Every time Google passes your website, if you've got fresh, relevant content on there, it's going to remind Google, hey, when the user's searching it, I got to get this up there, right?
Yep.
So yeah, weekly for sure.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Matt, this was another great session. I appreciate you joining me today. And until next week, brother.
Absolutely. Next week.